open up Photoshop Mix. I mean, Photoshop Express. I always do the search, Photoshop Express, got it. And then make sure you go to Mix up or right hand corner, right at the top, and then pick out your photos that you want to use. I made a file so that I could find my photos easily in Pumpkin Face. First, I'm going to start with the apple, which is what I used instead of a pumpkin. And I'm going to click on add a layer. And then I'm going to add in my nephew's face as my second layer. So you can see it's above the apple. So there's two layers to the right middle section, the apple on the bottom, nephew on the top. Once I have my nephew in place, I am going to the cut out section on the bottom left-hand corner with the little scissors and it says cut out. It has an auto version. Photoshop Express is so much better than Photoshop Mix for this. It is the newer one. You could do Smart Cut, which is what I'm going to start with, where you just select an area with one finger around that area. And you could see I have the dancing ants that come up. Oops, didn't mean to open that. And then you will see me try to subtract by adding remove button, which is under the blue slider. And then I hit on the brush tool to easily erase sections. And what it is doing is erasing the selection. It is a non-destructive edit, which means that I can always get that stuff back. It's not like an eraser tool in a program where it just erases it and it goes away. In Photoshop and Photoshop Express and in Photoshop Mix, it all does non-destructive editing, which is amazing. That's how you can make really good edits and not have a bunch of oopsies and lose that later. Look at how good that Smart Cut got for the mouth. That didn't need any work at all. They are really getting this much better. I get into a Photoshop Mix later for the people that do not update their programs, even though I've said if you update, you should get Photoshop Express. Um, you will, it's a little bit harder to do this and it will come out a little worse. Now I'm playing with blend modes to see if there's anything good to blend, and I find that overlay looks pretty good. It's not exactly what I want. Hard light looks even better, so I'm going to hit hard light and use that as my base um, multiple layer. Then I'm gonna make a duplicate layer. You can see now we have 2 faces with the glasses on. 1, 2, and I just did that by hitting the 3 dots next to the plus sign and pressing duplicate layer. So now I have a second layer to work on and refine my pieces in there. Oop, I tried to make it bigger. I wanted to see the whole thing closer up, but you can't do that in Photoshop Express. So I'm gonna use the undo tool is the back arrow at the top, and that's how you undo stuff. See, now it gets back to the right size. I want it to be exactly the same size as it was before. So now I'm going to go back to cut out. Well, this is the aspect ratio. If I wanted to change it to square or Facebook post or Facebook profile, any of that, that is that section that you can put that in. But I am sitting here trying to figure out what I was going to do next. So I am going back to cut out. You can see that there's like a black mask with white of the glasses and the white where the mouth is. Those are your selections. Those are your masking selections. So I know that's there. Now I'm using 2 fingers to get in closer, and I was on add, so you can see it added into my mask or my dancing ants there. I can actually add in sections or remove. So again, I can hit remove right there, done, removed, right? So like I can go back in and refine my edge, make sure it's clean, get those little parts around his glasses. You can see that Photoshop is not a miracle worker. You do have to do some refining to make it work because it is just looking at like pixels. It's not a person, it's a computer. So I do need to clean up where his hair was with his black glasses. He has black hair, obviously, black glasses. The computer's not going to find those things. So you're going to just work on refining that to make it the best picture you can. You can see I'm doing that just again, one finger brush tool on the remove part. And then, oops, I messed up. Here's non-destructive, right? So I can do add again and it comes right back, or the undo button. Again, Photoshop is great for non-destructive edits. And now I'm gonna use the slider tools to refine it. I'm on the refine, so I'm adding in some feathering. Again, if you might have heard this last video, but refine edge is definitely the way to go if you don't want your photos to look photoshopped and just cut out. I did notice there was a chunk of his face showing and a chunk out of the glasses, so I wanted to come back in to cut out and fix that up. So again, just hitting on the brush tool, doing the add part to get in that little bar of his glasses, and now I think it looks good. I probably would have gone back and fixed that one little dot too eventually, but here we go. So I save it, so the arrow up to export it out, going to my camera roll, easy peasy. And now I have made my nephew Tyler into an apple. Stay tuned for Photoshop Mix, coming up on how to use Photoshop Mix. Okay, guys, I am showing you the Okay, so if you're going to Photoshop Mix, go to the image on the cameras, go to again, I put them in separate, folder together under pumpkin folder. So I'm going on my phone and I will go to pumpkin folder, pumpkin face folder, which will be under P somewhere. And there is the ones that I just did. And now I'm gonna grab the apple as the bottom layer, and then I'm gonna press the plus sign and have an image. And then I'm gonna grab the image of my other nephew, Riley, and then I'll put him on top. So you can see again, it's the same size. It asked me if I want to resize them the same size. I probably should have because later on it does have to change, but it's good. You'll get to see. Now I'm going to go to cut out and I'll do the smart, and you'll notice the smart on here is definitely not as good as the smart on in Photoshop Express, but it still works. So then I'm going to go to brush and I'm going to hit on erase to get rid of what I didn't want. And I will start using the brush to erase. Okay, can toggle through either layer, but we're using the top layer, and I'm just erasing out his facial features besides his eyes and his mouth. You, of course, can use the mouth. I'm changing the size of the brush here because it's too big and it would erase everything. So I want to make sure it's smaller, and then I'm using my finger to go around and erase on everything but his eyes and his mouth. Do, 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 do. Erase, erase, erase. It does take longer on this one compared to the Photoshop Express because the Photoshop Express was made more for this. So there you go. Keep on going. Okay, and I'm working on that. Do, 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 do. This is real time. I did not slow this section down, just so you guys know. And now I have the face, but the apple is way too small. So I'm going to take two fingers, I'm going to click on that image layer, and I'm going to use them to expand the apple much bigger so the eyes are on that same level. On this version, it's not easy to make a copy. Oh, there is a copy. I just didn't notice it earlier. Okay, so I'm using the blend modes here to change it to see if I can get it to look better on the apple. And I'm using the opacity, which is the eyeball, and it says 77% right now. Moving that up and down to see if it can be blended into the apple a little bit more. And you can see that it can. And then I look at my blend modes here: screen, overlay, soft light, difference, luminosity, color, see if any of those are better. I decide that normal is better. And then if then I just do the opacity down a little bit, making that look the way I want it, and then I save it to my camera roll and I'll put that on Google Classroom.